You've created your quiz. Excellent, you're ready to go. You hit done. And now I'm in my quiz, so I could also click on it from my Quizizz over here and it would bring that up also. And there are 3 ways to share it. Play live and assign as homework will be competitive. So kids can try to beat each other on their scores. Solo practice won't do that, but you can still have them play the game just for additional practice. So on Play Live, you can play as a team, classic, or do it as a test. This would not be competition, obviously. You can assign it to a class. So this works if you have classes set up either in Google Classroom, again, or my non-recommended way. And then down here you have additional settings. So if you want students to have multiple attempts, that's great. I mean, if they didn't get it the first time and you want them to keep learning. If it's a test, you may or may not want them to. Whether you want students to see the correct answers right away or after the game, up to you. There are additional kind of like motivators, like power-ups, where they get to erase one wrong question or something like that they earn by getting questions correct. So you can kind of go through these. You'll also know, and I'll put one up you can try out, but after each question, they have a little meme, and you can either create your own bank of memes, which you would do over here on the left, or you can use theirs. So if I were to do classic mode, and this is a live game, so if I were on Zoom with my students and we all wanted to play together, you can either, this would be how you would do it if you didn't have classes set up. So you would have them go to joinmyquiz.com, enter the game code. Again, they can do this on any browser. They do not need to have an account if you do it this way, or they can do it on the app. And once you have the students playing, you would hit start and take them through the game. And game. If you have students set up in Google Classroom, you can assign it as an assignment and it will automatically go to them. It will assign it to them. You would have them when they want to do it by, so your assignment deadline. Again, you have the same settings. And that wouldn't be real time. So if you are playing real time, just so you know, at the end of the game, you're given this screen and you can download the results. You have an overview of how everybody did. You can play again. Sometimes the kids like to try to do better the second time. You can look at it by questions, standards, but there is one other place to see reports afterwards. And that's here on the left. So these are the quizzes that I've given. You can see here that I had one that was assigned. This was assigned directly to my class. It was not, it was done asynchronously. Everybody did it on their own time. And then I have 3 that were done live. Either way, I can still see reports. But when I click on reports, there are different ways that I can see it. So one, I can see student by student. I can click on the student and see how they did on each question. These can be sent to parents. Why don't I see the close button? Am I blind? No, just click out. There we go. You can email the results to the parents. You can look at it by question to see maybe what the most common incorrect answers were. Do your question analysis. This gives you an overview by question and by student. And if you've attached standards to these, you can also look at it that way. I think I'm trying to kind of, the only other thing to be aware of, if I'm doing just a brief overview, is that there are accessibility tools that are on the student side. And there's a read aloud one where it will read aloud what's on the screen. And there's one where it will change the language of the app. So that the directions and all of that on the app are in their preferred language. If you change the language of the app and you have read aloud open, just so you're aware, it reads the English text in English, but with an accent of the language that's been selected. So I tried it. I had the app in Spanish, and it was reading aloud with a Spanish accent, which meant some of the English words were pronounced incorrectly, which may not be the best modeling for students. But it did also give some of the directions that were Kaizen type directions in Spanish. So you might want to play with that a little bit before you share that feature with students, but it would be an accessibility tool, just so you're aware that it exists. And it's on the student side in settings.
Tiffany, do you know that if you assign, so we had a good question, and I don't remember, if you assign this as homeworks like to be completed independently, do they still have like the student competition feature, or does that go away?
No, it does. It stays.
Okay, yeah, I think it's not time-based at all anymore. It's just, I don't remember, I know Kahoot had one where you can have it be time-based or not time-based, and we always recommend to turn the time-based piece off so that kids aren't competing where they get extra points for answering quickly. I don't remember if Quizizz even has that feature anymore.
I think it's time-based in the sense that they have to finish it by a particular point before it will automatically move on. But it's not, I don't think they get extra points for answering quickly. In fact, if you answer too quickly, it tells you to slow down. Yeah,
I think Quizizz took that away because people were rebelling against that because it's actually a bad practice. So awesome. But yeah, so then Susan, hopefully that answered your question. And then that was a good, and then Jennifer is asking if we can do this live using Zoom, and yes, you can. You don't need, so Quizizz goes on the kids' screen, so they just need to be able to handle having two browser windows open. They'd have to have their Zoom screen and their Quizizz screen both open. But I know a bunch of teachers that have been doing that, and you can do some really fun ones that really are good, like little community building activities with your kids.
And actually with the way Quizizz is set up, they don't need to actually be looking at the Zoom screen for the quizzes, because all of their questions and answers are on their screen. So they could have Zoom just kind of in the background and be able to hear everybody or hear the teacher talking and just be focused on their own Quizizz screen.